Welcome back to I Know How to Do at least every basic thing about film except properly light a scene. I'm your host, Evan, and I have a new setup for sitting down and talking videos. I will likely be using this for the foreseeable future. So get ready for everything to go from white wall bland to red wall bland. I wanted to do a top 10 video that wasn't a top 10 video. I wanted to just do a video talking about 10 things that I liked. It's been a while since I've done a list of that sort, so I figured it would be a good time to kind of get back to it and to update you guys on my 10 favorite movies of all time. As you guys all probably know, Elm Street is still my number one favorite movie ever, and other than that though, I'm not really planning on ranking any of the movies in this list. You can kind of consider this like a top 9 runners-up to Nightmare on Elm Street instead of my top 10 favorite movies in any particular order. Okay, so top 9 runners-up. Let's get one of the ones you guys know out of the way. Inside Llewyn Davis is still one of my favorite movies out there.
Hey, it's me, Llewyn.
Yeah?
Can I come up?
No.
I still rewatch it a whole bunch. I think it's really great. It's the exact movie to put on when you're feeling a certain negative way, and it helps you in multiple circumstances regarding that. You know, it can make you feel like life is harder than it is. It can make you feel like it's easier. It all depends on like exactly the kind of sad you're feeling when you watch it. It's a great sad movie. I still like it for all of the reasons that I've ever liked it. I love the cinematography. I love the editing so much. It's my favorite edited movie. And I think editing wise, it's like my model for how I approach cutting and stuff like that. You guys know all about how I feel about the editing of this movie, but cannot drive that point home enough.
Here's this. I used to like this.
My honey, fare thee well.
It's Such a Beautiful Day is a movie that I watched years ago, and I really liked it even then. It's just such a dense animated film that's really, really dark and very, very simple in what it's trying to get at thematically or otherwise. I think that it's a great movie to like just sit and be in. It's very... Even though it takes place over the course of a person's life, it really comes off like you're with somebody in a moment of their life, figuring things out with them. And there's something just so personal about it, and I love it for that reason. I think it's very easily one of the best animated films ever made. Mandy is sick. Oh my god, it's so cool. It's just this incredible thematic, angry thematic movie that's just, it's so... it just makes sense in so many ways. I think that it says exactly what it means to say while doing it in such a gruesomely sick way. Sick with multiple meanings to the word sick. It's awesome, and it is sickening.
Going hunting.
So what you want?
It's crazy evil.
Nicolas Cage is amazing in it. It's definitely a role that was made for him in multiple ways. I think that they get him, and I think he gets the movie. I love it. I just love it. I love everything about this movie. It's awesome. If you haven't seen it yet, and you can deal with a little violence, and some gore, and some pretty upsetting themes, do it. Yes, in my 10 favorite movies of all time, Matilda has returned. Matilda is one of the funniest movies on earth. I think I know the whole script back to back. Danny DeVito is the funniest thing about the movie, and it's just so heartfelt, and its messaging is great. And I love it. It was made the year I was born. I love Matilda.
Of director Danny DeVito comes the story of every kid's right to stand tall, no matter how small. Matilda.
Alright, let me talk to you guys about Strada really quickly. In the last film class that I had, we basically watched a bunch of films by filmmakers Fellini and Antonioni. I think I might have mentioned this, but the films that we watched in those class were really great, and I really like both Fellini and Antonioni as directors and the stuff that they specifically focused on. My favorite Fellini film is La Strada, which is a very simple, sad little story, and the main actress in it is one of my favorite actresses ever now. She's in a lot of Fellini stuff specifically. I'm pretty sure that the actress is Fellini's wife. Am I making that up? She's just very good in the film. She's very good. And the film itself is very good. And very sad. Sad stuff just gets me, you know? Like if you agree. I really like Sorry to Bother You. I think it's one of my favorite contemporary films just because of like what it tries to get at. I think it's one of the first movies I've seen in a long time that's very intentionally trying to be thematic and doesn't necessarily have to be like viewed technically first. It reminds me a lot of movies like Hereditary, where in terms of its intent, not in terms of its content, where it just feels like it wants to talk about something so clearly, like there's something that the filmmakers need to get off their chest. And in the case of Sorry to Bother You, the political and economic stuff that they're talking about in it is really, really interesting. I think that it's a great movie that to showcase how certain groups of people react to the system that we live in. And I will leave it at that because you should go see it because it's good.
You are awesome.
Jason Lives. You guys know why I like Jason Lives. I've made an essay video about it, but it is just so worth singing its praises again, and it's crawled its way back into my top 10 after years, just because I just find it so rewatchable and so fun, and just, to me, an encapsulation of what good, campy, slasher horror can be. Just specifically, it gets all the things that I love about that type of horror right when it's done with themes, you know what I mean? Like when the thematic part of these movies are kind of over and they've made 12 sequels and there's nothing else that you can really take out of a concept like that. They've decided to pivot and to just do something interesting and fun and reverent, and that's just great. And I love that. I love Jason. I was about to say Jason X. That's also true. I also love Jason X. It's not on the list though, so forget that I said it. Into the Spider-Verse is probably my favorite superhero movie at the moment. I think that it thematically gets right what a lot of modern superhero movies do not just in terms of like a societal thing, but also a personal thing. I think it makes both of its themes about the world and about the people in the world similar, you know, like close to each other, whereas in other superhero films, there tends to be this huge disconnect between the two, and I've always wanted to talk about that more at length, but I think that just like speaking about it quickly, Into the Spider-Verse does a really decent job at talking about what it needs to within the time that it has, and not taking too much time to veer outside of that. We have like very clear themes in this movie, and at that, just on a technical like level, the storytelling is absolutely perfect. It's so well made.
Love you.
Wait, what?
Red Desert is a film by Michelangelo Antonioni, who is the other director that we watched in that film class that I mentioned earlier. He is very, very obsessed with things like geometry and spatial storytelling and stuff like that, and it's very clear in the way that he makes these films and what he chooses to talk about. This might be a bit of a bold statement, and I hope people correct me if they see it and I'm wrong to them, but I think it's one of the most comprehensive portrayals of mental illness I've ever seen in a film. I think it understands mental illness. I think it treats it with respect. I think that it tackles like the subject of mental illness very gracefully and very harshly at the same time. It's a very hard thing to explain, but I thoroughly enjoyed it for that reason. I wrote a whole paper about it in college, and I got a good grade on it because I got really into it. I got really into the ideas of it and the visual metaphors. It's packed with visual metaphors because, again, since Antonioni is very focused on space, a lot of the stuff in the film complement the themes. We're supposed to be seeing things that are aligning with what the story of the film is about. Things like buildings and such are used structurally and thematically to be about something, and that's really cool. I love it. I think it's great, and I think you guys should go see it But yeah, those were the 9 runners-up to Nightmare on Elm Street for my favorite movies of 2020. Meaning that they're just my favorite movies in 2020 of any year. Do you see why I don't make videos? I can't talk. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching though. This has been fun. I've been putting out a lot of video content lately, and for anybody that's been doing Patreon stuff, I do apologize. I don't know what has caused me to be so productive lately. I will try and relax about it. Actually, that may not be true because next month is going to be insane. Just thanks. Okay, wow. See you soon.